And now another page in the history of Bowden, Alberta. The story of Bob Hoare begins in Twyford, Southampton, England, where Gerald Robin O'Brien Hoare, known to his friends simply as Bob, was born on November 11, 1878. He and his older brother Walter were both born with cleft palates, a condition that affected their speech and made schooling difficult. Contemporary accounts note that this contributed to their difficulty fitting into English society in the late 19th century. In April of 1900, Bob and Walter immigrated to Canada. They purchased a homestead near Innisfail, Alberta, which they named Wild Duck Ranch. Like many early settlers, the brothers supplemented their farm income by supplying rails and logs on contract, balancing agricultural work with whatever opportunities were available on the growing prairie. Bob kept detailed diaries during this period, recording weather, farm work, expenses, and daily routines. These entries provide a chronological, first-hand record of early homesteading life in Central Alberta. Walter's health declined in the years that followed. Diary references mention doctor visits and increasing concern. Walter eventually suffered from mental illness, was institutionalized in Manitoba, and died in 1904. Historical sources indicate that he died of tuberculosis in Winnipeg. His death marked a significant turning point in Bob's life. That same year, 1904, Bob opened a photography studio in Bowden. The studio operated for approximately 10 years. Financial difficulties led to its closure around 1914, but Bob's photographic work did not end there. He continued to photograph throughout his life, documenting people, buildings, farms, businesses, schools, churches, threshing crews, floods, fires, and everyday scenes across Central Alberta. His photographs were practical records of daily life rather than posed or theatrical images. Combined with his diaries, they form a detailed chronological record of prairie settlement and community life in the early 20th century. Bob continued to live on his homestead after the studio closed. Alongside photography, he maintained a strong interest in gardening, carefully harvesting seeds from his garden and distributing or exchanging them with other gardeners throughout the district. Saharada triggered by long bicycle rides between farms and communities. Preserved in the Bowden Pioneer Museum are the brothers' distinctive raccoon coats, visible in several historical photographs. These garments were likely either locally made by area trappers or furriers, or purchased through early mail order or regional suppliers common at the time. Regardless of their exact origin, they are enduring examples of how early residents adapted to harsh Central Alberta winters. They can be seen today in the Bob Hoare studio. Also preserved is a carefully recreated version of Bob Hoare's photography studio, complete with original photographs, artifacts, representations of his living quarters, and personal effects. Among them is Bob's distinctive hat, a recognizable detail that appears repeatedly in his photographs, sometimes worn by Bob himself and sometimes by the people he photographed. Later in life, Bob lived at the Autumn Glen Lodge in Innisfail. He died in Edmonton on March 4th, 1964. He did not live to see the historical importance his photographs and records would later hold. Today, his work remains an essential visual and written record of Central Alberta's early years, preserving everyday lives, labor, and landscapes that might otherwise have been lost. And that's another story from the Bowden Pioneer Museum. Like and share for more stories.